Yeah, I'm watching the rise, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked, cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride, this one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife, could've left 1,000 times just to by my side. This one's for the grind, I knew it would happen, just had the strength in my mind. To the videos, they thought I was a black guy. That's hard to get over. I'm foreigner in this world, but I'm fully devoted. I don't take it for granted that the door's been open. I knew I was different, I knew I was chosen. A breadwinner, but I'm soft-spoken. Authentic like a 5950 and there's no cap. Let's have a toast to that. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the They done baptized the bad guy. Still don't follow religion. The fabric's not average, the cotton's Egyptian. 500 for the shoes, come dirty, but the European. Less is more and less is the bank. Up the score, I pull up from trade. From the tray, I'm ballin' like Trey. Do what I can, I do what you can't. I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm tryna get that type of wealth, like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still me up, stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff. And if you know the deal, then you know the deal. If it's real, then you know it's real. Toast. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real. For the real ones. Have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real.
Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. How's everyone doing? It feels like forever when I don't do even just one or two podcasts and I come back. It's like a nice little reunion. I hope everyone is okay. Oi, I'm actually still a little bit hungover, if I'm honest. Drank quite a lot of sangrias last night, but I'm good. I'm hydrating, taking one of those fizzy tablets, and I'm good. I'm happy to be speaking with you all. Thank you so much to Lorna Williams, who I think are a new member, or you rejoined, or you upgraded, whichever, but happy to have you part of the crew. And let's see who's here this fine Saturday. A lot to talk about. Today's going to be a long podcast. It might go on for hour and a half, 2 hours. Let's get to it. Is it Dorothy Roche? You're doing a crossword. Haven't done a crossword for ages. Nice to see you here. Church Nelly, you've opened the bar. Lovely. Lovely. Verda, hi. Hey, Kay Castillo. Bonnie, hi. Annie's here. Sherry's here. Sarah Archilla. Looks like a bit of a new name. Don't think I've seen you before. Debbie Ann Isaacs. Hello from the UK. Debbie, have you been in central London? They've got all of the flags and everything up. I'll show you some pictures later of what they're putting up in central London in preparation for the Jubilee. Judge Nelly, you're always hungover. Well, you open the bar every single podcast, so I'm not surprised. Oh, Lorna, new member. Well, welcome then, Lorna. And thank you so much. You're highly appreciated. Drink on Martha. Hi, Daniel. Was it Daniel or Danielle? So sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Alice, Mandy's here. Hi. Emma's here. Hi. Okay, I think almost all of the usuals are here. Is Lydia here? Don't think I've seen Lydia. Ah, there she is. Hey, Lydia. All right, I think almost all the usuals are here. Coming to 300 of you in the chat. Please do remember to thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. We are almost nearing 9,000 subscribers, guys and dolls. That is amazing. So let's get to the fun things before we get onto the meat of the story, and that is Meghan visiting the memorial for the children who were killed in the Texas shootings. But before we get to that, yes, my glorious evening last night. Do you guys want the 411? Do you want the goss? Shall I give you the goss? The food was lovely. Michelin star. But he was a little bit too older and mature for me. We agreed on that. But he was lovely also, but it's a no. So your girl is still single, but I had a lovely night. And Octopus is now on my fave list. Never was, but this was lovely. And while I was walking through London, I saw all of the bunting that they have up, the flags. This is pretty much all I can see in the centre of London. There's a couple of department stores and shops that have things on their window, but it's actually pretty minimalist. There's not a whole lot that I can see that they've put up. So I'll be interested to see what things will look like by the time we actually get to the Jubilee. So, but this is pretty much what London is looking like so far. Thank you, Crazy. Yeah, that's London. Also, schools have been prepping for the Jubilee, but there are some parents who aren't too pleased, and got a couple of people who let it be known on Twitter. One lady saying, "So because I'm a petty, I sent my toddler to preschool in an American flag tee this morning on Jubilee Day." Victoria saying, "Son has been told his class have to sing a song in assembly today that celebrates the Queen. I've told him he absolutely doesn't have to sing, and if he's told otherwise, the school can ring me. Am I right?" Another lady who sent her daughter to school with a monkey t-shirt wearing a crown. And another lady, Charlotte, who tweeted a picture of her daughter saying, "When your daughter's school is making them dress as royalty." And I believe she's actually dressed as a Welsh female warrior. So nice creative way of throwing some shade there. Marcy. Walking through London looking beautiful, definitely bring the boys to the yard. Oh, girl, there's so, do you know what? There's so many boys in the yard, but just boys that just aren't to my liking. The search continues. Dolores, I heard the Jubilee is going to bring in millions. Millions for who, though? For who? I mean, even just walking around my neighborhood, and I live in quite a conservative constituency, I don't really see a lot of people, bringing out the bunting. But like, I see people with like flags on their windows and stuff, but it's the houses that I usually see with stuff. I mean, to be honest, even in our house, like we have like a flag up in our house, but it's just always in the house. Like we don't have it up for the Jubilee. So I don't know. I just don't really see people making a fuss out of it. I think most people are kind of indifferent and dealing with other things. Oh, Karen, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to Piers Morgan. Don't worry. Let's see. Okay, and you and Annie Bullard had a night out on the town. I would absolutely love to have a night out with some of you squaddies. It'd be the best night ever. Okay, so that's that. The parents bringing the shade. Over in Montecito, the hostage was having fun playing polo. I think they're meant to be through to the final. I thought they already had the finals and won the cup. I haven't really been following the polo in terms of who's winning and who's losing, but apparently they won again, and the polo continues. So there's the hostage, looking very miserable, as you can see on his horse, because he's not allowed to go out and do anything. So we were playing polo and having a good time in Montecito. Back on this side of the pond, 6 of the Queen's Guard's soldiers were arrested in a drugs raid dealing cocaine and money laundering. This is who they're hiring, y'all. The Ministry of Defense has said that the soldiers are under investigation and will not take part in the Queen's Jubilee. These were 6 Irish Guard soldiers and the Coldstream Guardsmen, veterans, and they were actually arrested. They were detained on Wednesday, but sorry, they've also said that none of those being investigated will take. Oh yeah, sorry, I already said that. Yeah, they're not going to be able to take part in any of the parades. So I keep on saying that it's just been nothing but bad omen after bad omen. Just the other week, you had somebody falling through the stands at the Trooping of the Colour rehearsal, and just pretty much everything leading up to this Jubilee. Yes, Julia, it's a comedy show. Yeah, Mina, where? I guess it's all of the anxiety and nerves of the Jubilee. They just felt, let's do a bit of cocaine to calm the nerves. And I don't know where the money laundering comes into that, but yeah, the mafia monarchy, Lynn. Only the best people for the Queen. Yes, Black Queen, the Unroyal Mafia will drive you to drink and drugs for real. And apparently money laundering. Uh Patricia, Meghan and Harry was at a picnic with Delphina and Archer's wife, Harry in shorts, Meghan in a cute floral dress. Yes, I've seen one photo, but it's of the back of her. I haven't yet seen the photo of the front. So when I get that, I'll probably show that to you in tomorrow's podcast, or put it in the community tab. Yeah, the whole Jubilee is turning into a mess. Yes, Black Queen, they have to money launder because they paid them pittance. It's just this whole idea of, oh, it's an honor to work for Her Majesty and the royal family. Honey, an honor does not pay my bills. Money pays my bills. Give me money. Oh, okay. So that's that. On to the next thing. Piers Morgan, if you remember, a couple of days ago, blocked me after I tweeted him an article from the Metro stating that he had only 10,000 listeners and that even that number was dwindling. And I did wonder, was it actually him that blocked me or someone on his team that blocked me? I'm actually starting to believe that it was him and that he knew what was coming. So this came out that Moron is to take a 6-week break from his struggling TalkTV show. He then tweeted, apparently I'm going on holiday for 6 weeks. Good news is that a real life hologram of me will be hosting Piers Morgan Uncensored for the next 10 weeks. Then I'll be hanging out in America for a bit with serial killers. So may or may not be back depending on how that goes. So he's done this series on serial killers before. I think it's on Netflix. And I guess he's doing more. And I think this is just his way of covering up the fact that he will not be coming back. It's been a flop and a fail. He's having to go back to the serial killer documentary making because, I mean, those type of shows tend to do pretty well on Netflix. But again, it's very much sensationalist stuff. He doesn't really have anything to offer as a journalist, or he's never really been a journalist. And like I've said before, I hope that the court case with Harry will be the nail in the coffin for this clown. Thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker. Lorna, that's what the hats are for. Do you mean the Queen's Guards? Their hats are for money laundering. That's a very good point. And yeah, this is what you get for doing nothing but putting negativity out into the world. Personally, that's why Harry and Meghan shouldn't go to the Jubilee. Girl, I have my fingers, my toes, and my butt cheeks crossed. Because I am just, the closer it gets to it, I am just dreading it more and more. Annie, yes, please do help the moderators. If anybody wants to be a moderator, if I recognize your name, I will let you be one. Just put any animal emoji in the chat, and I'll make you a moderator. Oh, Sonia, you're back from your trip. Lovely, darling. Glad you came home safe. Yes, Julia, serial killers are the only people who like Piers Morgan's company. Oh, that is so funny. Yeah, nobody else wanted anything to do with Piers Morgan other than serial killers. That's a very good point. Cat Harlem, will Piers still get paid even though his show is dropped? That is a very good question. I'm sure that he will probably get some kind of exit deal, or they've negotiated some kind of deal if his show failed. So it's probably not going to be the full amount, but he'll get something still. Yes, Karen, Morgan is a one-trick pony and the horse has died because God don't like ugly. Joyce, Sharon Osbourne lost her job in the US and UK, and now both of them are out due to Piers Morgan. Exactly. I think they thought too highly of themselves, and now they're realizing that their popularity only came because of who they were sitting next to, and everybody else is propping them up. All right, so that was that. And so this other story concerning a dress that Kate wore. So she wore a Russian designer to the recent garden party. And as somebody pointed out, Russian tennis players were not allowed to play at Wimbledon, but Wimbledon royal patron or whatever can go around the UK wearing a Russian dress. And of course, people were pointing out, well, is this some kind of subtle nod to Russia? And is this a punch in the face to the fact that Kate and William came out so in support of Ukraine? Now, personally, let me just say this. I think the whole idea that what you wear is some grand statement is ridiculous. It's ridiculous window dressing. But this is a precedent that they themselves have set. The idea that if you wear a particular color, you're supporting something. If you wear a particular designer, you're supporting something. So by pointing this out, I'm only holding them to their own standards, but I think there's the whole idea of dressing and it means this and means that. I think it's ridiculous. But this is the standard that they've set. I found this article back from June 2021. Queen and Kate Middleton's pink outfits signal they're ready to forge ahead with enthusiasm after a difficult year. Compassionate and kind, color experts reveal. Yes, by the way, if you did not know, not only do we have body language experts, we also have color experts. And, when I look at things like this, it really brings home the way in which the palace thinks that wearing a pink outfit signals that you're ready to forge ahead, not actually doing anything impactful. But back to Kate's outfit for a second. The other reason this caused a lot of controversy was because of this. This was a note that was written by the designer. And you can see very clearly, I'm not going to read it out because of the censors, what that note says. So these are the type of people who Kate is very comfortable associating with. Now, this note actually came with a bunch of flowers. So I don't think that she was actually using that word in a way that was offensive, but I just consider it offensive to use that word. I don't even like it when black people use that word. And I just think that you should know better. So I just think it's interesting that um, Kate would wear this particular designer. And I think it speaks for who she's happy to associate with. And you can't tell me that it doesn't mean anything that she was wearing a Russian designer when clothes and colors are how they are known to send signals. All right, I'll just get through your comments before we get on to the next thing. Diana, I want my husband. I want someone to care. Sorry, I don't know what that is about, sweetheart, but I hope you can get that issue sorted out. Palmer, I like that my favorite two are going to the Jubilee simply because of the harassment of Meghan was meant to drive her away. And to me, it shows that they have won. I have them in my prayers 24/7. Yeah, I mean, it's. I love the sentiment that she's going back almost like triumphant, but it shouldn't be like that. It should be because she's going back. Sorry, she's going back because she wants to, because there's peace. Not that she's going back, because she's won some kind of battle. She has. I believe that she's won the biggest battle of her life. But this whole situation should be so much more peaceful than it is. And it's turned into one big circus now. The press have turned it all into one big circus. Denise, Piers is with his peers with the serial killers. He has all the time same traits of a stalker and a killer. Yes, indeed. I agree. Rahini, new conspiracy. Dan might be taking Piggy's place. Dan was the go-to for Scammy and Tugboat, not Piggy. I don't think so because Dan is quite comfortable at GB News, and GB News is actually doing a lot better than TalkTV. So he'd have no reason to go to a network that's struggling. Yes, Karen M. Those two thought they were the loudest, so they thought they were the most popular, and they're just not. Joyce, again, this is a situation where someone was not thinking. Right now, anything dealing with Russia, anything that's going to raise eyebrows. Yeah, which is what makes me think, did she do it on purpose? And yeah, it makes me think, did she do it on purpose? Or did she just do it because how else are they going to get headlines? I don't know. And I see that we're back to the coat dresses with lots of buttons. Yes, there's color experts in the UK. So now I'm going to have to take a body language course and a color expert course. Yes, Rahini, it shows you just how incompetent those at Kensington Palace are. Mary, you get that right. They do always dress in colors that are supposed to mean something, and designers that's supposed to mean something. And what that tells me is I think they are in support of Russia. Yeah. Crazy. It's only in the UK that you will find self-acclaimed experts for everything and anything. Color expert. What's next? A breathing expert. Arm expert. No, do you know what? These experts only pop up, it seems, around the royal family. Like nowhere else is this taken seriously. Uh, Lorna, I know it's now that moves faster than bumbles and mumbles, indeed. Okay, so moving on from that. Now, this came out in the Telegraph. The Rota and the press are pissed because they really don't know what's going on with the Sussexes, and I think this shows it. So this was in an article in the Telegraph. It said those organising the Jubilee have privately expressed frustration over a lack of clarity over where the Sussexes will be appearing and when, with fears the novelty of having them back in Britain for the event will overshadow the Queen's celebration. The novelty. Okay, first and foremost, let's be very clear. It's the British press that want them to come back to make money. And this whole idea of them overshadowing the Queen, well, first of all, you all have been turning this into a circus for the last 3-4 weeks. So it's your circus and your behavior, the British press's behavior, that is overshadowing the whole Jubilee. And one more time for the people in the back. You cannot help it if you are popular and people like you. They seem to want to create this faux outrage over the fact that Harry and Meghan are overshadowing the Queen. It's because they're more popular. Anyway, it goes on to say their habit of making surprised, unpublicized appearances, most recently from Meghan at the memorial to murdered primary school children in Texas, has led to concerns of a circus following their every move during the visit. And who's going to create that circus? It's the British press. The Telegraph understands the Sussexes are intending to limit themselves to public engagements during the Jubilee, spending time with family privately, but not making unannounced visits elsewhere. So, in other words, we know nothing. They are thought to have been in touch with the palace only to discuss logistical arrangements for the Jubilee. The royal aides kept at arm's length about their wider plans. Of the prospect of the couple only doing official engagements, one source said, "We'll see." Let's just remember for a second here that this is meant to be the Queen's Jubilees. They have a whole Queen, a future king, a future king, and his children, and they are preoccupied with Harry and Meghan. They just need to say and be honest about the fact that they are desperate to make money and that they want Harry and Meghan back. Stop trying to create fake outrage and rile up hate towards the Sussexes when at the end of the day, the only people that benefit are the tabloids, from the pictures, from the clicks, from the stories, and that is why they have and they will continue to turn this whole Jubilee into a circus. Diane, what Meghan and Harry show every day is they will not be bullied into doing or not doing anything. They decide on their own terms, guided by the principles. Absolutely. And the fact that Meghan knew, she knew that she was going to be ripped to shreds. And she still showed up in Texas. That's boss behavior right there. Brenda, the couple on the right looks like an old couple on that country on that country cornflakes commercial. Oh god. Wait, let me go back. Oh, okay, now I see what you're saying. Hmm. Julia Rock, teddy bear expert. Yes, surely we have to get a teddy bear expert in here to help us understand the psychology of the nonce. Yes, Rahini, I'm declaring myself a Sussex expert fan as well. Lily Bell, I have always said Piers Morgan's obsession with Meghan will be his downfall. He's going to America. He better not go there and trash Meghan, otherwise people will find him. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this serial killer thing will be like his last shot. But again, like serial killers, that's always going to get views. He can't carry anything by himself. Diane, I think one of Rose's double agents is handling current wife's clothing selections. Gotta level Rose up from that mistress status fast. That is such an interesting conspiracy theory, Diane, because at Philip's funeral, when I saw Kate's outfit, I was like, are these people trying to embarrass her? That is a pretty interesting conspiracy theory, Diane. Might the mistress have double agents? That is some epic Games of Thrones stuff right there. Yes, Joyce, they don't know what's going on with Harry and Meghan. They know nothing. Aaron, Meghan will be going to the Hub Kitchen Smartworks and Harry will be going to Wildchild, I bet. That's actually a pretty safe bet. And it's interesting that no one in the British press that I've seen has even thought of that. But I guess that would highlight the fact that Harry and Meghan actually work and do meaningful work. Let's see. Carol, do the palace and the press understand that the Sussexes are grown-ups? They don't need to check in with them, folks. Yes, they left. They left, and you wanted them to leave, and now you want them back. Thank you so much, Alice Langdon, for the super sticker. Much appreciated, darling. Do you know what? Those children could come and we never see them. Can you imagine that? Crazy. So one side they blame them for seeking attention, then they turn around and are blamed for not showing up and making their plans known. Harry and Meghan have made their stand and choice. Why don't they get it? Yeah. Well, they do get it. They're just mad that they no longer have control and access. That's what they're mad about. All right. Oh, did I before I move into the main? Oh, did I mention this? I think I might have missed this. But yes, they are now moving Harry and Meghan statues back to where the other members of the royal family are. And as Chris said, F. Madame Tussauds, London, remember at the height of the Brit media, telling Princess Meghan to go back to America and move Meghan to where she would be more comfortable among the Hollywood type, but left Harry with the royal family. Yes, 100% yes to that. And yes, Madame Tussauds moved Harry and Meghan back to where the rest of the royal family are for the Jubilee. But we do not forget the shade, and we have the receipts. I actually think the wax figurines of the royals are quite awful. They're not the best at Madame Tussauds. I haven't been to Madame Tussauds for a long time. It's a lot of money to pay to stand next to wax statues. Thank you so much to Nafisa for the super sticker and also Janet for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Happy Saturday to you both. Yes, toys. Control is the name of the game. The tabs have no leakers to tell them anything. And of course, as we know, the calls come from inside of the house. So those inside of the house know nothing. CMAC, they have to realize at some point that their tactics are only working on Soul Island. Well, this is how a cult behaves, doesn't it? Think of Scientology. All of the propaganda they put out is only working on the people inside of the cult. Lynn, is Andrew going to be starting in the Sussexes? I hope not. That is the nightmare I'm hoping they avoid, because in my mind, that's something that the Palace courtiers are going to want to try. That's a stunt they're going to want to try and pull, to put Andrew near Harry and Meghan. So I certainly hope not. All right, let's get, I think I've almost gone through everything, and yes, we can get to the meat and the bones of today's story, that Meghan did indeed fly to Texas and pay her respects at the memorial. Now, there's a couple things that I want to point out. You can see here that Meghan, she's dressed very casually. She's not dressed glam at all. She did not have her own camera crew. In fact, the photographers and press that were there were just there taking pictures and photos of everyone. So it was not her own camera crew, as they keep on trying to claim, and it was definitely not a Netflix camera crew, as they keep on trying to claim, that took those photos and the videos. In fact, I believe that it was there's another piece of footage that's going around of a camera crew that follow Meghan to her car. And I believe that it was actually the BBC. They're the ones that recognized her and followed her. So all of the lies that the British press are putting out, that the trolls are putting out, that she had her own camera crew, that this was planned to she was trying to ensure that she got photographed. She was very quiet, she was very discreet, to the point where even the volunteers did not know that she was there until she left. And obviously there were people who were trying to compare her to Kate and say that, oh, Kate didn't show up at a dead woman's funeral for PR. Well, let's just go back and remember what happened when Kate did show up to Sarah's vigil. Number one, she showed up without a mask. It was, technically speaking, illegal to protest. So, while I had no issue with the vigil, I personally had no issue with the vigil or anybody's right to protest and be there. I would argue that perhaps as a royal, given that it was an illegal protest, she shouldn't have been there. She then leaked to the press that she had written a letter to Sarah's family, even though Sarah's family never had anything to say about Kate's visit there. And she then tried to use it as a way of trying to compare herself to the ordinary woman, saying, I know what it's like to be a woman out at night. You most certainly don't, darling, at all. So for me, there is no comparison between Kate visiting Sarah's vigil and Meghan coming to pay her respects as an American and as a mum. Because for one, Meghan didn't just show up. She actually bought food, she bought donations, and I don't see that there was any attempt by Meghan to be the center of attention here at all. And as this commentator said from Twitter, she didn't even do anything. She did not volunteer. She did not bring anything. She did not talk to anyone. So this is in reference to Kate. She just went to be photographed there. She could have worn a mask, as at that time it was mandatory, but she pulled a Boris and broke the rules. Read, every time Meghan Markle is seen in public, we feel very threatened by her. So she should never show her face in public again so that we can feel better about ourselves. It's pathetic. And the more they push this narrative, the more pathetic and desperate the firm looks. Indeed, they're trying to create all this false outrage over the fact that Meghan simply went and paid her respects. And for all of the tantrum throwing, well, the locals could not have been more thankful of Meghan. Look at these messages all over Facebook. She is a mourner paying her respects. It's so sad for those who are posting negative comments. That was so kind of her. Bless you for showing compassion. God bless her, she has a kind heart. What a wonderful lady, so caring. And we know that Meghan is not new to this. She is true to this. She has been doing things like this for her whole entire life. So her showing up to pay her respects at a vigil is just a continuation of what she's always done. Actually, I just thought of something. Because I didn't have the podcast on Friday, if anybody actually wants to come up and speak and say anything about this, I will put the link in the chat and you can come up. Just give me one sec. Because I realized that we didn't actually have a chat on Friday. So that's the link if you'd like to come up. Okay, I'll just read some of your comments before we continue. Hi everyone, if you're just joining us. Yes, exactly, Joyce. The international press was there along with the BBC. So she didn't need to take a camera crew. And she wouldn't have taken a camera crew. She was very low key. There was a US senator, I think it was Betty O'Rourke, who showed up. And so I think he showed up just after Meghan left. And I don't even think he was aware that she was there. Diane, you could tell how Meghan dove into the car that she felt she was being pursued. Only classes BBC would do such a thing. Yeah. And her, one of her minders, you could see one of her minders consoling her. Like, she was very emotional. Yes, Boney, the BBC has become gutter press. I have never liked the BBC. I know there's a lot of people in the UK who seem to have this idea that, you know, the BBC is somehow, you know, some great, you know, savior against the right-wing press. And I've never looked at them like that. I think when they're required to be an agent of propaganda, they will be that. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, cancel the licenses, cancel the BBC. I don't trust the British press in general. Yes, SS, the camera crews are there for the blood drive, politicians and the memorial. They weren't there for Meghan. She just happened to show up. Dorothy, we all know how Meghan looks, so why did the press feel the need to keep following her? Is she suddenly going to change? Yeah, I mean, you can tell that they were shocked that she showed up. So now they're trying to turn it around and make it seem like it was a PR stunt on her part. Yes, C-Max, she dipped out so the governor's press wouldn't catch her on camera. And she came with something. She didn't just come. Let's just remind ourselves what it is that William said.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time, and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it's lots more than financial.
Yeah. Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So
Yeah, that's what they come with. They come with the odd smile here and there. But please tell me again how we're mad at Meghan, who actually came with something. Diane, I'm pleased American outlets immediately clapped back against the Netflix camera crew lie. I know on certain terms. I let it be known there were film crews everywhere. Do you know what? I am so tired of this whole Netflix thing. You can tell that they are still pissed that the Sussexes had this Netflix deal. And they are going to keep just driving it into the ground. Netflix this, Netflix that. They have the right to make money outside, make money privately now because they're outside of the royal family. Okay, I think there was someone who gave a donation. I think it was Janet, but I wasn't sure if I'm so sorry if I forgot to thank you. But thank you for your super sticker. If you have given, you guys know that if I miss your name, it's never because I'm ignoring you. So obviously the trolls came out, and we know that one of the main Meghan trolls is this, according to Taz, Fall. But you can see the difference in the engagement from the trolls and from the people who can see that the trolls are lying, that the smear campaign is just that, it's a smear campaign. And so you've got, according to Taz here, who only have something within the region of 2,000 likes, and this other individual, that's probably at this point about 100,000 likes, saying Meghan literally went to Texas unannounced, wearing regular clothes, and didn't tell anybody who she was. Volunteers didn't know who she was until she left. She was photographed by photographers who were already in Texas. Explained how it's a PR stunt. I'll wait. I mean, need I say more? Yes, Boney, she should have the freedom in her country to go anywhere she wants. Doesn't need anybody's permission. And it's just so disgusting that they're using a situation where children died to further their own hate campaign. V. Thomas, they're just mad because no one else left the firm, and yeah, I think you meant to say has left the firm and is doing well. Yes, everyone who has tried to leave has pretty much failed. And Harry and Meghan broke the generational curse. And so I'm just going to read what it is that a reporter from BuzzFeed said about the incident and Meghan showing up. So what I'm reading now, I'm not going to put it on the screen, but this is from a BuzzFeed article. So Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, told the director of a community centre in Texas that she held her children, Archie and Lilibet, a little bit tighter when she learned about the elementary school shooting. On Thursday, Meghan quietly visited the Herbie Ham Activity Centre, which hosted an emergency blood drive to help victims of the shooting. Director Sue Ranking told BuzzFeed News that late in the morning on Thursday, a member of the Duchess's security team walked into her office and told her that Meghan was in Uvalde. Is that how you say it, y'all? I'm just going to say that Meghan was in Texas, so I don't butcher her name. So she went on to say she wanted to come by and just see everything that was going on with the blood drive and to help. Her whole thing was she wanted to help, Rankin said. She was going to be incognito. He told me that she was going to be wearing a t-shirt and ripped blue jeans and a hat and a mask, and no one was going to, he didn't want anyone to know who she was because she did not want the press attention. Spokespeople made it very clear that she didn't want the press attention. Rankin said she was told Meghan was on her way to a nearby grocery store to pick up food platters for centre volunteers and people who were going to give blood. She went and picked up trays and trays of sandwiches and snacks and everything for the people who were coming in and giving blood. It was for our workers. It was for myself, Rankin said. It was for anybody that wanted to, have lunch. When Meghan arrived, she said the Duchess's security team did a sweep and then asked the director to meet her outside the centre. I did, and we visited for a few minutes. She did have her mask on. She kept it on the whole time. There were no cameras whatsoever. Rankin brought Meghan from the back door into the kitchen. So she went through the back door where she was introduced as a volunteer. There was no, look, it's Meghan Markle, nothing. And she introduced herself as Meghan, Rankin said. She said, my name is Meghan, and I didn't go into, she said, my name is Meghan and didn't go into any more detail, Rankin said. She started passing out sandwiches to the people who were donating blood, and she was very delightful. I didn't even tell my poor husband, she said. So when she came here, he walked in and he met her and said, oh, you must be Jimmy? So literally nobody knew that this was Meghan. Wow. I feel like I would recognize it was Meghan straight away. Wow. A number of volunteers at the centre told BuzzFeed News on Thursday that they had conversations with Meghan and didn't know who she was until after she departed. Rankin confirmed this, saying that after the news spread that Meghan was in Texas, she was approached by several people at the centre who chided her for not revealing Meghan's identity while she was there. One of the nurses came over to me and said, I cannot believe you did not tell us Meghan Markle was here. We were standing right next to her. And the head of the volunteer crew said, I stood there and talked to her for 10 minutes. I had no idea. And I said, that's what they wanted. They didn't want you to know that she was here. Rankin said that she spoke with Meghan for about 20 minutes about the tragedy and the Sussexes, and about the Sussexes family life in the United States. I asked her, so how's your husband doing, Meghan? Rankin said. She said, he's doing very well. And then she whispered to me, don't believe what you read. Rankin told Meghan about the community centre's Quilts of Grace program and how they give quilts to kids who have been removed from their homes because of abuse and neglect. And tears came in her eyes, she said. And tears came in her eyes when she was talking about the tragedy that happened here and the families and the children. Rankin also shot down internet speculation that Meghan visited the centre with an accompanying camera crew or personal photographer. This was not a photo op, she said. I reiterate. Meghan did not bring cameras with her. She didn't bring reporters. In fact, she said, Meghan had expressed desire to stay at the centre for some time, but she and her security team left when the Texas candidate Beto O'Rourke arrived with a crew of news reporters in tow. So it's only when he came with his news reporters, as all politicians do, that Meghan had to leave. As a matter of fact, as soon as his team arrived for him to get the notoriety of giving blood, when Beto's crew arrived, they left. And I didn't know that they had left. So, there you have it. Word for word from somebody who was there. If anybody is still under any illusions as to whether or not this was a PR stunt, it was not. Okay. Let's get through your comments before we continue. Oh, I pronounced it right. Uvalde. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for just joining us. 700 in the chat. Yeah, exactly, Julia. She wants attention at a massacre. I mean, Meghan demands attention when she's at a polo match wearing polka dots. Why would she need to go to the memorial site for a massacre to get attention? Yes, Ethany Green. The British press showed their bias, and the American press clapped back. Yes, Lottie G. That's something that Meghan always did. She helped others. She volunteered. Not new to this, true to this. Marina, I don't trust BuzzFeed. They're two-faced. Yes, I agree, but it would seem on this occasion they're saying and doing the right thing. That Ellie Hall woman from BuzzFeed tried to insert herself into this. Like, girl, please go back into the tabloid writer cave that you came out of. Nobody cares. Andreen, the British press can't receive no leaks. That's why they're pissed. They get secondhand news. Harry already said he's not going to play their game. They should leave him alone. Yes, they no longer have any access, and it's driving them insane. But they're just going to have to deal with. You would think at this point, they would have gotten the message, but they continue. Okay. She bought food for those donating blood. Yes, she did. Oh, someone gave a super sticker. Who was that? I've got to find you now. Lottie G, thank you so much for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you for reminding everyone to put the thumbs up, subscribe, and notifications on, Lucy. Rahini, you could scream till you're blue in the face. The Rangers will still not believe it. Yeah. Do I see a troll? Thank you for getting the troll. I think that was Ree Dixon. Karen M. Those polka dots was noticed worldwide when the Royals engagement. You don't know about it ever? Sorry, I don't know what you mean by that. Samelia Ann reports that most sane people don't believe this nonsense. Kate and Meghan are the same. Stop comparing them. Meghan has a long history of doing exactly this. Kate does not. Do you mean they're not the same? Yeah, they're not the same. Kim, the Rangers have amnesia, that Meghan has experienced the loss of a child. She shares in the feelings of the loss. Exactly. My gosh. Like, she would have no reason at all to use a massacre to get attention. Kat Harlem, thank you so much for the super chat. If the royal family stand in line of succession at the Jubilee events, Andrew will always be standing next to Sussexes. There's no way around it. That is a very good point, Kat Harlem. But I would hope that, and I do think that the Sussexes will make sure that they're not going to be standing anywhere near Andrew. That will not be a good look for them at all. Alrighty, and as we always say, Meghan, not being new to this, true to this, there was this article that resurfaced, and this was from a CNN journalist, and it's a bit small on the screen, so I'm going to read it out from my phone. If my phone will cooperate with me. Okay, so it says, since the Sandy Hook atrocity, I was working for CNN. One of my most enlightened conversations about this explosive issue, i.e. gun control, came with a famous US actress after another school shooting in 2015 during the US election, when a student at Umpqua College in Oregon shot dead a professor and 8 other students in a classroom. What is it with your nation and guns? I asked the actress. Shameful, I know, she replied. It's so deeply controversial and brings up so many other issues relations, religious intolerances. So, since we can't solve each of these in one fell swoop, the logical solution would be to have much tighter, stricter gun laws. But there is resistance. Not sure how you sleep at night with that over your head unless you fall into the Trump school of thought that it's not the guns but the mental illness. So then why give mentally ill people guns illegally? So why give mentally ill people guns legally? It's staggering. I admired your stance at CNN on gun violence. Just wish more people in my country would make a stand about it. If America regulated guns like it does cars, I replied, thousands of lives would be saved every single year. Yes, she agreed. I read an interesting thing on Instagram suggesting we treat every man who wants to buy a gun like a young woman who wants an abortion. So he'd have a mandatory 48-hour waiting period and permission. And of course, the actress that he was talking to was Meghan. Now, I saw a tweet on um, Twitter saying that um, this conversation was had with a journalist in Vegas, but I couldn't find any evidence that Meghan had actually gone to Vegas after the massacre there. So if anybody has any evidence of that, this conversation took place with a CNN reporter. I just don't know where the conversation took place, but somebody had claimed that Meghan had flown to Vegas, but I couldn't find any evidence of that. But yeah, she has spoken on the issue of gun control before. Yes, Julia, Meghan isn't a ribbon cutter. She can go where she wants. Thank you so much, Pele Scott. Much appreciated. Diane, I wish someone would ask media clowns why they camp outside 24/7, dig through the garbage, or even base in Cali. Sussexes don't have a news outlet and wouldn't be in the news unless clowns put them there. Yeah, and this is another thing. You know, if the Sussexes are irrelevant and you don't care, don't report on them. I think there was somebody else that gave a super sticker. I'm sorry if I've missed you. Darlene, bet any money the Sussexes will not be seen publicly for the Jubilee. Well, after all of this hoorah, it wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me. Why did the reporter call Meghan an actress? I think he was referring to before she was in the royal family. That's why. Lynn, I had this dreadful feeling that Harry and Meghan will be next to pedo Andrew. Well, let's just cross our fingers and hope that that doesn't happen. Okay. Thank you so much, Black Queen, for the super sticker. Much appreciated, darling. Okay, and yeah, just more people reiterating that it was local journalists on the ground, that they have 24/7 staked out journalists at the town, as they would, because this is an unfolding story. So Meghan would have had no need to bring any journalists, and that's not what she went there for. And this here was a thread that was posted by one of Meghan's former neighbors. And it says, I will never understand the hatred. She lived here in Canada for years. I'd pass by her on my way to work and we'd wave and yell hi. There were no wild parties or drunken binges falling into cars at the end of the night like some people, and she was beloved by her neighbors. When Harry came onto the scene with his protection detail, one of the older gents in the housing area teased her about the extra cars. She apologized and asked what she could do to fix it. He told her he'd love a wee something of whiskey. That evening, she arrived with a 40 ounce of the best whiskey she could find. She was always there for her friends who needed her and didn't have to be asked. The catering truck that provided their food and snack used to throw away truck food full of food every night. She went to the homeless shelters and women's shelters and arranged for all the nutritious food to be taken there instead, plus food kitchens, earning her the nickname Meghan Gets Ish Done. We'd all be blessed with a friend like her. She loved Canada and we loved her, and always will, because she's a classy, hardworking, self-made woman who went into her marriage a millionaire and is loyal to a fault. She has the biggest, kindest heart, and how anyone can hate her will forever boggle my mind. And I swear, hand on God, even as a teen, I followed no bands, loved them all. Same thing with political parties. I always voted for the person who got ish done. So, as we've seen many, many times, someone who knew Meghan before she married into that unroyal mafia saying the same thing that every single person who knows Meghan says, that she is a nice person. So all of this nonsense about her being a bully, about her being this, that, and the third, it clearly only started when she entered that unroyal family. Oh, one day we will have peace. One day. Diane, I disagree. Standing next to Andy somehow tarnishes Harry and Meghan. Sussexes weren't standing next to Andy when he was supposed to be at Pizza Inn, but doing bad acts with girls. That's most important. Well, I think that now that you had that whole situation where Andy basically paid himself out of going to court, I think it would look bad now. And remember that they are trying to rehabilitate Andrew. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Palace tried, but I think the Sussexes will be smarter than that. Jill, another interesting fact is that all the mass shooters have been male between 17 and 18 years old. Why are we selling these repeating guns to them? Well, somebody made a very good point. I was going to make this point at the end of the show, but as soon as you brought this up, the Daily Fail posted this headline saying that the Texas shooter was bullied at school because of his clothes he wore and because his family were poor. He is holding an iPhone. He's holding an iPhone 13. And this gun is almost $2,000. Show me the poor. It's like they want to create any excuse they can to excuse what's going on with these shooters. And for sure, I don't think that we can ignore that this is definitely a problem with boys, because I'd like to know what the figures are for female shooters in the last 40, 50 years. Probably only a handful. I can't even picture in my head the faces of any mass female shooters. So there's definitely something going on with our culture and men and boys. Because this is very clearly a very gendered issue. Black Queen, the Trump killers gave an excuse during the Revolutionary War. 18-year-olds were able to bear arms to fight for independence. Oh my gosh. Any excuse. The thing is, what's so interesting about all of this? There are countries that do allow you to bear arms, but their laws are just so strict that it's difficult to obtain a gun, and so it creates this sieve where people who probably shouldn't have guns don't get them. So it's not like there aren't examples of countries where you're allowed to bear arms, but they don't have mass shootings, because there are countries where you're allowed to bear arms and they don't have these issues consistently. So there's something else going on in the States where you consistently have these issues. Joyce, Meghan's life has been very quiet except for her acting. The UK press could not find any dirt on her. That's why they had to lie on her and pay people to lie. Indeed, and continue to pay people to lie, or at least attempt to, or make up silly articles like this. This is how desperate they're getting. Princess Anne's dazzling and vibrant perfume is more expensive than Meghan Markle's. Like, this is where we are, y'all. You know, guys and dolls, I've been saying since September last year that we are going to get to a point where the British press become the story. They are making themselves the story. And I hope that the international press is going to grow a pair and go after them. Because the amount of vitriol is just, it's like nothing I've ever seen. And if it's not vitriol, it's clownery like this. Cameras will be camped out at Frogmore Cottage several days before they are scheduled to arrive, and camped at the airport to get that shot of them. Yeah, I'm sure there's already cameras at the airport, just in case they come in a little bit early or a little bit later. And also for when they leave. I don't know if they'll stay at Frogmore, though, to be honest. I'll be surprised. Julia, here in Canada, we don't judge a person based on hate articles. Well, do you even have a tabloid press in Canada? I don't know that there is. Certainly nothing like the British tabloids. Crazy. Should anything happen to Harry and Meghan, whether in or outside the UK, do the royal family really think that they will survive the furor that will rise unscathed like the way they did Diana's death? Well, it's a very good point you make, Crazy. I think that they are so clouded by jealousy, they're not thinking long term. And I think that they do genuinely believe that they would survive. And I don't think they would. Lorna Williams, why is Scammy always asking for money from Meghan to pay Dad's medical bills? He was an unionized award-winning lighting director. Well, have you noticed you've heard absolutely nothing about that, his stroke, since the other day? Apparently, this troll, Lady Campbell, was looking to host Thomas Markle. I mean, this is who the likes of Samantha and Thomas are aligning themselves with. The desperation. She had apparently made plans for Mr. Markle and hired him a dinner jacket and was taking him to Royal Ascot. Can you imagine Thomas Markle at Royal Ascot? Oh my gosh. And you know the other royals go to Ascot as well. And other aristos and people in those circles. And she organized a black tie dinner so he could meet lots of interesting people. Oh, the devil works hard. As Anne Boleyn said, Thomas Markle has staged photos for the press, trashed Meghan in the media, was going to the UK to harass her, and also has a dedicated hate channel to discussing her on YouTube. Why should Meghan be expected to pay for his medical bills or show up for him at the hospital? This exactly. Expecting Meghan to say or do anything in regard to this man. He said nothing when it came out that she had a miscarriage. He said nothing about the smear campaign against his daughter. In fact, he's been part of it. Oh. Andrea B, not an excuse, just a fact. Also, the culture says to be strong and not complain. That's not manly. Yeah, we really need to rethink the culture in which we raise boys. You know, there's often this saying that boys are easier to raise than girls. And I think what actually happens is that because of that belief, people just don't raise their boys at all. But I would argue that you need to give even slightly more attention to boys, especially if they're going to end up like this. Lucy, we're in the right. Always vote no on gun reform, and sadly, nothing is going to change anytime soon. Aren't there people who are slightly more on the left or who are Democrats that are pro-gun as well? I mean, I get that it is majority, I guess, on the right, but I can imagine that there are people probably on the left who are also pro-gun as well, who probably just they just want more gun reform and tougher laws. Benjamin, Anne, I was on your page congratulating Meghan's efforts, and a troll targeted my comment. Oh, okay, no. Do you know what? I haven't checked. Was this on the community tab or on a comment under a video? Sometimes it's difficult to keep up with every single troll, so yeah, just ignore. Don't get into arguments with trolls. Catherine, I believe once the Queen passes, there should be some peace. H&M will no longer have to step into Narnia. They will do what's best for them and their family and stay away from the toxic family. Yeah, I think that they will only know peace after Betty passes, because then there's no real reason for them to come back. Not anytime soon, anyway. CMAC, I'm from a military family. I'm fine with owning weapons. It's the high capacity weapons of war in the street for me. Yeah, like I've seen people with these like machine guns that like fire rounds a minute. What do you need that for? I mean, if there are very, very tough reforms and you have to jump through a lot of hoops to get that weapon, I can somewhat side with the idea of having a basic shotgun to defend your home. And even then, there are still a lot of things that I have an issue. But if I am siding with the gun lobbyists on this one, there should be a lot of hoops that you have to jump through, and you should not be allowed a full-on machine gun. It should be a very basic, minimal weapon to defend your home only. You should not be allowed to walk around with weapons. I know that there's one country, I think, is it Israel or Japan, where you're given like even a limited amount of bullets and you can never buy bullets again. Oh, it's just a very this whole debate about gun laws, it's yeah. You could just go back and forth for weeks on it. Kat Harlem, Thomas Markle had no intention of going to the UK. He's all talk. Let Dan Wooten deal with him. Well, they're kind of embarrassed now, aren't they? Because that whole stunt, it didn't really do anything for them. They wanted to try and paint Meghan as some horrible person for not talking to her father. They wanted to try and lure her to the hospital so they could have a paparazzi circus. That didn't work. And now they've just been left with egg on their faces. Yes, Sonia, they're grasping at straws. All right. I didn't really have anything else to say. I was just going to end with a random story of the day because this came up on my timeline, and I just couldn't have. This is not Meghan and Harry related in general, but you guys know I like to throw in odd things here and there. This, in the name of Jesus, there is a man. Actually, I'm not going to call him a man. There is a dude who has 33 children by, I think, 8 or 9 baby mamas. And this guy is all over the internet bragging about this, congratulating himself. The funny thing was that, okay, it's actually not funny at all, but this actually started trending under Nick Cannon, who is another community peen having children all over the place. I feel so sorry for these children, beautiful children, but they did not deserve this. And the guy who the father to these children came out on Facebook and said that this is his legacy. This apparently is legacy. Honey, this is not legacy. Legacy is when you build generational wealth and you build whole libraries and universities. That's what people with wealth who build legacies do. This is reinforcing generational poverty, generational dysfunction. And like someone says, everybody is a king to y'all. The bar is in the underworld. Indeed, this is not a king. This is a fool. So yeah, y'all can tell me what you think about that. That is all for today. My voice is coarse. I am exhausted. Emotionally, I'm exhausted. This whole thing is draining. I can't wait for the Jubilee to be over. And yeah, deep breaths, everyone. We're gonna get through this. The way we got through the Oprah interview and the way we get through everything else, we will get through this also. So I'm gonna finish with your comments and we will call it a day. I need to pack. I'm still packing for my trip. So yes, and mothers coddle their boys, and they raise them to only treat their mother right instead of all women. Indeed. But they should remove the lady and just put B instead. I agree. And I don't like referring to women as the B word, but I have to make an exception here. Jane Commonwealth, and not true. I raised a boy who was a great son and upstanding man. Well, that's because you actually raised him. What I was trying to say was, I think when we have this attitude that boys are somehow easier, I think it leads to a situation where we don't pay as much attention to boys and raising boys and helping them to adapt to a society that has changed. Because I feel like sometimes women have changed, and the times have changed, but we haven't necessarily helped our boys to adapt to those changing times. Yes, cookies and cream. The unroyal family have made themselves a laughing stock. And as have the press, they've contributed to this, but it seems like the royals can't. They're struggling to contain the press, because it's really the press that are turning this into a circus. Crazy. The Lady C imbecile uses her titles for clout, but she's always the first screaming about Harry and Meghan using their titles. Does she think the royal family will still call her for crumbs? Yeah, she is a clout chaser. Elaine, I check the comments on a daily basis. Thank you so much, Elaine. But don't worry about it. You know, we can't get every single troll. And also, there was a story that went around saying that the Sussexes will be at one of the services. That hasn't actually been confirmed by the Sussexes team. So it's still left to be seen where they will be seen. Oh, Darlene, you're going to be at Ascot on June 13th. Okay, if you see any of the aristos, if you see Rose, do please take a selfie. Is it against Aristo protocol to take a selfie? With a what's Rose? Is she a countess? I don't know what she is. She's a something. Say hi to everyone for us, Darlene. Marina, the last time Thomas Markle was discharged from hospital, he was photographed with bags of chips and burgers. Really? I mean, that's the fastest way to get yourself back into the hospital. Lynn, the Queen allowed this toxicity to happen by hiding all the wrongdoings and cover up in the monarchy. The press is holding them by the balls. Indeed. Ethany, unfortunately, the gun culture is strong in the US. However, most responsible gun owners want to regulate getting guns, background checks, etc. Yes, and if that happened, you wouldn't have so many mass shootings. So it's obvious that the low regulation of guns is because they're more concerned about making money than keeping people safe. See, Mac, we regulate Sudafed more than ammo in the US. Christ. What? So do you mean that if you went to a shop and you wanted to get Sudafed, what, they'd ask for your ID? Is that what you mean? Dorothy, according to Sammy, her dad will not be able to talk for a year after his stroke. Oh, is that so? Okay, time will tell. But something tells me that if he has a check thrown at him, he'll gain his speech back real quickly. TS is trashy. All of these different baby mama and children. It's incredibly sad. Because there's no way, even if you were able to financially provide for all those children, I don't think you can. You cannot emotionally provide for that number of children. Margaret, I follow Paris Milan on YouTube. So do I. And she did a pod on this scum. Yeah, she did. I saw that video. She found he has a record of domestic abuse. Well, no surprises there. No surprises there. Heaney, I hope he feels the same way when he has to pay for child support. Yes. Lavender Rose, excellent point on legacy. Yes. Legacy is so much more than just having kids. Brenda, you're leaving on a 2-week trip next week. Where are you going, Brenda? Where are you going to? Diane, Sussexes are already in the UK and staying at the American Embassy. I didn't hear anything about this. Are they? Where did you hear that? Has this just come through? There's no. But why would they be staying at the American Embassy? I don't think that's true. I haven't heard anything about that. Andreen, oh my god, who's really paying for the 33 taxpayers? Probably. All right, who's going to get the last word of the day? Arnold, Harry has a polo match tomorrow. So is that the final? 'Cause I haven't really been following the different matches and games. I've just been looking at the pictures. Verda, it's one thing to own a gun. Of those guns that have been used in these mass shootings should never have been on the market. They are offered military only and they should have stayed in military. Yes, I don't understand the idea of having a weapon that can fire multiple rounds at once. I just don't understand it. And even in countries where you're allowed to have guns, they don't allow those kind of weapons. Why do you need those type of weapons? I don't understand that. I really, really don't. Even like I think in Zambia, I believe that you are allowed a gun, but I don't know anyone in my family that, even though they're allowed, that has one. I think we have like one person who has a gun, but he is literally in the military. And I think maybe that also speaks for how safe people feel, that they feel that they don't need a weapon. So I think that's something else that needs to be addressed. Like, why do people feel so unsafe that they feel that they need weapons? Thank you so much, everyone, for coming today. Been a great podcast. Great comments and commentary from all of you. It's your commentary that really makes these podcasts. Sharon, what Harry and Meghan should do, put a picture of baby Lily on her birthday. That way the UK press can't make any money at the Jubilee, for you know they are dying for the picture, so put it out first. Yeah, I do agree with the sentiment of putting out a picture first to take away from the press's profits. Well, we know the Sussexes are smart, so they'll do what's best for them and their kids. Pele, before you all go home, squaddies, supporters, especially our favourite prince, Harry and his beautiful gorgeous wife, our Princess Meghan, have a wonderful day. You have a wonderful day too, Pele. Darlene, when are you going for your trip? I'll let you know the day I fly out. I will try and do a podcast that day. Mary, the police did not go for 45 minutes and let the border patrol go in for the shooter. Really? So are you saying that the police didn't basically they didn't do their jobs? Is that what you're saying? I haven't really followed the story too well. And see that somebody put a super chat, so I'm trying to find it. I think it was you, Cat Harlem. Yes, Cat Harlem. Frogmore Cottage is the Sussexes' UK home. Why would they stay anywhere else? Eugenia and her family house sit when they're out of town, but she leaves when they're in town. No, I agree that they absolutely have the right to stay in Frogmore Cottage, and they should be able to stay there. It's just we know that the press and prying eyes will be looking in that direction. So I absolutely agree. They should be able to stay there, but for their own safety, privacy, security, can they stay there? That's what I was trying to question, because we still don't know exactly what the situation is with the Sussexes security. We haven't really been given full clarity of that. I love Mickey. Let Andrew's daughter sit next to him. Yes. Dan, I wasn't saying the Sussexes were at the American embassy as a fact. I said prayerfully, meaning that it's a wish. Why do you want them to stay at the American embassy? Is it because you feel that they'll be safer there? Can you actually stay at the American embassy? Like, is there is there like a housing wing at the embassy? Because I thought that at the embassy was just an office. I get your sentiments though, but I don't think it would be a good look. Can you imagine what the British press would say? I mean, I know they're going to say anything about everything, but can you imagine what they would say about Harry, a British prince, staying at the American embassy? That would be a whole story. So I'm not sure it's a good idea, even if they were offered, that they stay there. But I get your sentiments. Andreen, yeah, I know nothing about polo. I just look at the pictures. I feel like I'm going to have to get into polo though, especially if Harry's going to be playing more often. Marina, my team is playing in the Champions League. Oh, it's Liverpool. Do tell us if they boo the anthem again, please. Just so we know that they were truly booing because William was there, and that it's not something that they do at every single game. All right, Rosa. I'm going to give you the last word of the day. Everybody have a good and blessed day. Oh, Patricia, thank you. Yes, please continue to donate to the World Central Kitchen fundraiser. Thank you for that reminder, Patricia. And yes, Squaddies, have a wonderful day. Thanks so much, everyone, for the super stickers and the super chat today. You've been so generous. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Let's get us to 9,000. And I guess I will be seeing you tomorrow if there's any news. If not, see you on Monday, folks. Bye.
I know I messed it up, but in my soul, I feel love for you.